Afternoon, intuitives. Uh, been reflecting on my past more than usual lately. That's never a good thing, because so much I want to change, and sadly, I cannot. The past forever locked in regret. But something positive did, come about it when I pulled myself out of that NITI loop that I put myself in and thought I could think my way out of, and that almost never works. But it got me to thinking about some unique struggles of being an INFJ male, especially if you don't know what an INFJ male is and, know if you are one or not. If you are an INFJ male and you don't know that and you don't know what that is, especially in your younger days, there's going to be some challenges because you're going to be different from most other guys, if not most other people. And female INFJs, go through these struggles as well, although these traits that I'm going to describe are considered feminine, so it's, usually deemed, quote, acceptable by normies for women to be like this, and not that INFJ women don't have their own unique struggles. These are struggles that, at least in my opinion, as an INFJ male, are particularly challenging, at least for a time, especially in your late teens and 20s, being an INFJ male. And another reason why these challenges that I'm about to discuss, I swear I'm getting there, are more problematic for INFJ men is, well, there's fewer INFJ men than INFJ females. So by that I mean INFJ females have a higher chance of knowing another INFJ female than an INFJ man has at knowing another INFJ man. So chances are, as a young INFJ man, and especially if you don't know what that is and can look up your personality and your traits, you're most likely, as I was, the only guy you knew like you, and you were weird, you know. As Lisa Simpson, tried to said in one episode of The Simpsons that I recall, she was trying to fit in, making jokes, saying things that didn't really go with the person she was, but she was trying to fit in, and she got called out on it, and she's like, oh no, I'm a fraud. I'll be an outcast. More so. So that kind of thing. Because INFJs, we are terrible liars and, not good at, quote, faking it. Again, that's something I admire about ENFJs. You're just as weird, but you can, convince people you're pretty normal most of the time. Not us. Not at all. Or at least not for very long at all. We can only maintain the facade for a very short period of time, about 10 minutes. So, some of the challenges of being an INFJ man that, you'll get picked on or made fun of. Number one, and some of these aren't going to apply to all, but this applies to more than it doesn't. Being a demisexual. Yeah, being a demisexual, heterosexual man. Basically meaning, you only will sleep with a woman to whom you have a emotional connection with, most likely in a relationship with. That's how I am. And the whole hookup, friends with benefits, one night stand culture, not for you. You don't even comprehend why people would do it. If you're like, but it'd be awkward and robotic, and there needs to be passion and emotion and all that stuff. Yeah, man, you're such a girl. You view sex like a girl. I got a lot of that back in my university days. Got made fun of, got called gay because I turned down more than a few women who were, let's just say, aggressive. And most guys don't understand that. They might hit you upside the head and say, you has been model, you throw away more opportunities than I get. You know, that guy became a weatherman, so I'm sure he's doing fine now. But that's just one example. Being a demisexual, especially like in your college days, it's going to be a little rough. Most people aren't going to understand that. And sadly, most of the women that you would be interested in, particularly towards the end of college at 22, have been dating the same guy since they were 19, and then they marry said guy at 25. Not that, not that any of the women I was interested in college were, like, usually in that situation or anything. All right. So another big one, intuition. Being an intuitive in general is seen as, pretty feminine. Women's intuition. That's usually, women's intuition. Intuition's usually associated with the feminine. In fact, if you're a witch like me and you use the tarot, and I should have brought it down to have a visual aid, but the moon card is the intuition card. It is, deemed a feminine card. Some of the cards in the tarot traditionally are seen as male and female, and we're going to discuss about witchcraft soon too. But the moon card is considered a female card, and it is the card of intuition. If it shows up in a reading for a male, it usually means said male has woman troubles. Be it, you're in unrequited love is a common one if a moon card shows up in a male reading. But being someone who thinks things through, overthinks, has a strong sense of intuition, that's not seen as traditionally male. Man shoot from hip, think first, ask questions later kind of thing. And, on a broader scale to that, I'm going to go off on a little sidebar here because these are my videos and that's what I do. And I know it can be annoying at times, but you watch them. Don't question why. Just keep watching and subscribe, please. INFJ men a lot of times can get mislabeled as a beta. Yeah, we're not really beta. We're sigmas because, one, we don't care. We don't feel the need to exert our manhood because we're usually quite comfortable with it. And the other notion is we don't have to beat our chests like an alpha, but at the same time, if the situation calls for anger, that's justified. See my INFJ Rage video for what justifies INFJ Rage. We will get physically violent and aggressive. Like, find another personal example from college. Like if your girlfriend's ex-boyfriend is drunk and is sticking his hand down her shirt and she hits him and then he grabs her, an INFJ male will say, for instance, hypothetically, tackle him to the floor and break his nose, and, then bouncers will get involved, and because it was justified, no police will get involved, but said INFJ male will be banned from that particular bar for life. And even if he tries to go back 5 years later while up there on a conference, they have in the computer system his ID and won't let him through the door. So that's my little sidebar. We're sigmas, not betas, and I'm going to do a video about what it means to be a sigma male. I'm like, oh, this is crap at first, and I read it all, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's me. So we're going to do a video on it eventually, and by we, I mean me. So intuition, another challenge because it's not most guys. It's not most people, but it's especially not most guys. Empathy, another big one. As INFJ males, we are usually very empathetic, and that is seen as weakness. Men no show emotion. Bounce the ball, drink the beer, take the blonde home, emotion bad kind of thing. And that's just not how we are. We have a strong sense of empathy and can also feel other people's emotions, especially negative ones. We may not understand them, we just feel them, and then we want to comfort that person and perhaps seek and destroy whatever person made them upset, depending on the situation. But empathy is generally seen as something that's more feminine. And as INFJ males, we have a lot of feminine traits, which I, for once, am cool with. The way I see it is, as males, we still have an X chromosome. Every male does. Everybody has an X chromosome. There has never been a male born with just a Y chromosome. Women XX, men XY, and there's certain conditions where men can be XXY, XY, women can be XO. But there's never been a human being born with at least one X chromosome to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, tell me and link a description because that would be interesting. Okay, enough science nerd stuff. Yeah, this video is meant to be lighthearted and kind of goofy. Aside from empathy, another one is, it ties in with empathy, but we're very nurturing and caring. Like, when we care about somebody, we show affection by doing little things for them without being asked all the time. And apparently most guys don't do that. It's hard for me to comprehend, honestly, in relationships how dumb and lazy some guys are, because I only know how my head works, and I'm like, dude, like, these little things she mentioned 4 times doesn't even cost you any money. Like, it's easy. Like, she said her back hurts, rub her back. You know, she bitches that she never cooking's easy, cooking's fun. She comes in, takes her heels off, and say her feet are killing her, rub her feet. Like, this is easy stuff. Like, I don't think you have to be you know someone whose dominant function is introverted intuition to figure this out. It's like, wow. Sometimes I just shake my head because I just don't get people sometimes. But you know, uh, being real caring and attentive, and we can be pretty emotional too, as well as passionate and soppy. We're real soppy. But you know, for INFJs, like, our soppiness is more drawn towards like real life emotions. We actually feel for people. Like, the soppy movies don't really do it for us because we know it's fake kind of thing. But as far as like, being like real soppy with the person you're involved with, yeah. When an INFJ is in love, everybody knows it. All or nothing. We either are or we aren't. There's no halfway. And we will, show that affection openly and not give a fuck what anybody says. Because, let's be honest, it's rare because we're picky. So the chances of us finding somebody we actually like and getting a chance, it's like, oh, you know, not mess this up. Might be 3 years till the next one. That's just saying, not that I've had 3 year gaps between relationships or anything. So, with all that being said, there is, a little bit more towards the nurturing side. And this is another little sidebar, but it's an important note. And even if you're not an INFJ, this little sidebar is kind of an important thing. And if you have intuition at all, you should trust it. We get made fun of sometimes because, as INFJ men, we're really good with babies. Babies love us. Babies love me. Babies are awesome. I love babies. I said before, dogs and babies are the greatest. On your darkest day, playing with a dog always cheers you up. The only thing better is holding a baby. I don't know why. They're just awesome. I love them. And I'm admitting that on camera. I've watched many of my friends' babies, and they like me, and they were happy. And, they cheered me up on some dark days. You're sitting there, you lost your dream job, maybe due to bullying, hazing, and retaliation, and, you're going to lose your apartment because it's COVID and there's no jobs in, let's say, the Washington, D.C. area. But for a couple hours, when you're watching an 8-month-old baby who thinks you're the greatest thing in the world, and they're easily entertained and they're happy and giggling and cuddly, you feel like a little less of a loser for that time. And as I said, sidebar, babies and dogs are great judges of character. This is an observation I've made over my whole life. And I'm sure, if you think back, those of you watching this, you can probably come up with similar scenarios. I truly believe dogs and babies can, like, see a person for who they truly are. I don't really know how they do it, but, animals can, like, sense danger and fire before it happens. Babies, their minds are in their infancy, they're developing, but I think they can pick up on things. And the reason why I believe this is I've known over the years some really fake people, narcissistic people that have people fooled that they're, not a piece of shit. And, they will be around, say, like, it'll be a group of my friends, and someone will have their dog there. And this will be sort of like the friendliest dog in the world who's never aggressive, but they'll be growling at this motherfucker. And it's like, might be something to that. Or you'll have like the most sociable, extroverted 1-year-old. I've seen this scenario too, that loves to meet new people, pick me up, up kind of baby. And again, they'll meet some scumbag in this situation, said 1-year-old who goes up to greet everybody was literally latched onto my leg, hiding behind me. It's like, ooh, you must be pure evil. I trust her intuition more than I trust mine. So I know it's a little out there, maybe. I'm a witch. We're going to roll with it. And I'm an intuitive. I honestly think there's something to that, because in these scenarios, more often than not, a few months down the road, the true colors of said scumbag came out, and it's like, how'd you know that? Good dog. Want a pig's ear? Or it's like, I need to take this baby with me more places. They're a good judge of character. I had that happen with, I was watching a baby, and I was just started seeing this girl, and the baby freaked out. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. And then, she showed me her true colors a couple weeks later. Glad I never got further with her. Glad I never slept with her. Occasionally people can get by your intuition. You're right about 85% of the time, but there are times where people fool us, especially in our early and mid 20s. You got to learn from those experiences and not repeat them. That's all I can say. So I know this video was, really, really goofy. I'm kind of a goofball and silly, but I wanted to lighten up some of this stuff because I'm talking about things that were probably were a struggle for you at one time. Not that it bothered you that you acted like this, and and you had these perceived feminine traits, but how you were treated for it, and how you were made to feel like something was wrong with you, and that's just not how a guy's supposed to behave. I mean, Christ, there were times in my younger days where it's like, no, you should hook up with the drunk girl and just use her. It's like, no. And not only that, I'm going to stop you from doing it. I'm going to walk her home instead, scumbag. So I'm going to hit you. Okay, and then a fight breaks out. That's happened too. But I stand by, and I'm comfortable with who I am. And if you're an INFJ male, you should be too. Because like I always say, never sell out your integrity. Always trust your intuition.